South Texas did something historic in 2020 and again in 2024. We shifted red. The Rio Grande Valley, a long-time Democratic stronghold, voted for Donald Trump. Some counties went red for the first time in over a century. National media called it a political earthquake. We were the front line of a so-called Latino conservative wave. But now in 2025, we have to ask, what did we get in return? Trump told us if Kamala Harris won, we'd face a depression. But the facts show that if America went from 2.5% growth in GDP under Sleepy Joe compared to 0.7% GDP growth in Trump's first quarter directly related to Trump's policies. There has been a 10.8% decline in the US dollar index in the first half of 2025. Its worst drop since 1973. And we've lost 70,000 manufacturing jobs since January. 70,000 manufacturing jobs since January. But that's all a part of the plan, Trump told us. It's going to be painful, but necessary. Because the debt and the deficit are unsustainable. And because other countries are taking advantage of us. Cuts were necessary, they said. And so Trump and the Republicans did. 1.3 trillion were slashed from the safety net. $114 billion were yanked from food assistance. $114 billion. And billions in DOGE cuts to fundamental American programs. And as far as South Texas goes, considering we did vote for this, well, 66% of the Valley families rely on Medicaid or SNAP. Texas manufacturing is down 2.3% since March. Trump's tariffs, that's another $1,200 a year out of your wallet. And gas, still bouncing up and down like Trump's titties after hitting a pothole on his golf cart. But remember, South Texas, it was necessary. In fact, Trump, the Republicans were so serious about tackling the debt and the deficit that in the big, beautiful bill, for the first time ever, they raised taxes on billionaires as a means to raise revenue to shrink the debt and reduce the deficit. Trump even tightened his own belt, raising his own taxes. Even turned down a $400 billion luxury gift from Qatar, saying, if Americans have to sacrifice, so do I. I'm fucking with you, RGV. None of that happened. And that is the punchline to this cruel joke. That for all the shit talking from Trump about the deficit, only you had to sacrifice. Your shit got cut. The billionaires went laughing all the way to the bank. And the deficit is now going to grow another $3 trillion thanks to the Republicans. Now, in a sane world, this sleight of hand by Trump would have triggered a revolution. Angry citizens would have taken to the streets. In our insanely partisan world, however, it's just another heist in a long string of heists. What about the border? Now, this stat will blow your mind. ICE raids have wiped out 75% of workforces in some areas. Farms have produce rotting, job sites frozen, taquerias closed, but because everyone is scared to go out. The RGV Chamber of Commerce said these raids hit harder than COVID. ICE has burned through $1 billion in Texas alone. And Operation Lone Star, that's a $10 billion border cosplay with zero return. So now, South Texas sits in a militarized zone, schools underfunded, workers missing, the economy gasping, and some Trump supporters are starting to smell the roses. But others are doubling down saying, I voted for this. My guest tonight is Noe Garza, chairman of the Hidalgo County GOP Precinct 50. He's here to offer his perspective, and he's earned that seat at the table. Because if we're going to debate the future of this region, we've got to start with an honest accounting of what the last 10 years have really meant for the people who live here. So without further ado, Mr. Noe Garza.
Thank you for bringing me on.
Yes, sir. Let's get right into it. So,
yes, sir.
What are your thoughts, man?
So I think my thoughts are, I agree with some of the things that are happening. And if we hadn't seen this red wave come this way, all the way from Cameron County, all the way to Stark County, the people voted for it. Yeah. And yeah, it's going to be hard. Hard decisions have to be made. You know, I was a Democrat for many years, but like you said, I finally woke up and smelled the roses, you know. I agree with some of the things. I agree with most of the things he's doing. I voted for that. And tough decisions have to be made because they have to be made.
But why do the tough decisions only have to be made for me and you?
Well, it's not just me and you. It's for everyone. It's across the board.
Wait, you're familiar with the Big Beautiful Bill?
I'm familiar with the Big Beautiful Bill.
Well, the tough decisions are only made for me and you, for the people who aren't billionaires, for the people who are living, paycheck to paycheck, day to day. These. I mean, you said you're familiar with the bill. I mean, most of the tax cuts in there are going to
the billionaires and the rich people.
The wealthiest of people, right? And this is after they told us, that they were trying to fix the deficit. Elon Musk came in Doge main, the point of their existence, Doge,
was to cost savings,
the deficit, right?
And he got his cut at the end as well.
Exactly.
At the end.
Exactly. Well, how do you support that?
Because I'm not a millionaire. At the end of the day, I still got to work. What I support from the Big Beautiful Bill is we got to secure the border. As a previous law enforcement officer, the border's been open for years under Biden, Obama, and they've always pledged the same thing. We're going to secure the border, and nothing has ever happened. Now with the Big Beautiful Bill, we see how many ICE agents, over 10,000 ICE agents and immigration officers that he's brought on board. You can't say you've not seen a difference, because me from Peñitas and Danny knows we live right by the border. We haven't seen an amount of people that I had seen with my own eyes, vans and vans of people being taken away during the past administration. Now you go through there and it's like a sleepy town. There's nothing there. That I support, because it's like you said, most of these people are scared to even go out to work. But how come they were not scared when they came here illegally? They were not scared then. And it might sound fucked up.
Well, have you tried putting yourself in their shoes?
Well, not really, because I've been here for 7 generations. Since my great-grandfather, my great-grandmother on both sides. So I know eventually they all say, yeah, but eventually if you keep digging on that family tree, you'll find out that somewhere you come from there. Maybe. But at the end of the day, I was born here. I still have to follow laws. And when I break the law myself, because I ain't perfect, I still have to go through the judicial system and follow the same process that they do. I had a friend in Benita saying, well, they have constitutional rights and they're not from here. They're illegals. How can they have constitutional rights?
Because it says in the Constitution. 14th Amendment.
But they're here illegally, Daddy. Okay.
But I mean,
because she quoted that as well, and I did some research, but I still boggles my mind.
Let's work on that.
Okay.
Because the Supreme Court
Said it.
itself ruled that when the Constitution refers to citizens, it refers to citizens.
Mm-hmm.
This particular statute, it refers to people, right? So, for example, when we get guests coming in from other countries, we can't do whatever the fuck we want with them. They got rights, right? When we got visitors coming in,
okay.
or do you think we can round those people up?
Well, no. Okay, but if you're saying that they have rights because of the 14th Amendment and the Constitution, what if we go do that shit somewhere else in another country? In Iran, just by crossing the border, they'll freaking shoot you on the spot. We're not Iran, exactly. We're the United States of America. But what gives them the right to come here and do whatever the fuck they want, but we can't go to other countries and do that?
Well, what do you mean doing that?
It's like just say, let's like you said, put yourself in them shoes, and it sounds tough and it sounds rough, and you might say like, no, but you fucking racist. But what I'm trying to say is there's the right way to do it, and then there's the wrong way to do it. Let's just do it the right way.
Right, I completely understand that, but you got to also admit that the right way is a little fucked up.
It is a little fucked up, but that's what the law says.
I understand that's what the law says, but the fact of the matter is that we can't play the law as a law card.
No, we can't.
When corporations have baited these people to come across into our border for years.
You're right.
Right.
You're 100% right.
So when these ICE raids happen, I don't see any corporate punishment. Do you?
No.
All we see is the punishment going straight to the defenseless, to the workers. If we were really about the laws of the law, why are we prosecuting?
But it's like you said that they baited them to be here. But then when they're being elected, they're all there preaching all these stuff. We're going to deport them. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And then they get elected and then nothing happens. So now this man comes here and gets elected and is doing finally what all these people baited him to come here and trying to do the right thing. Now everybody's bitching and saying, well, no, he's racist and cutting the workforce, and he's.
So just to be clear, because I want to know what you're saying. You think it's completely okay for ICE raids to be going into churches, to be going into middle schools, to be going into baseball games, to be tear gassing fields?
Well, maybe the tear gassing is a little too far, but I don't know. Wait. I don't know the whole backstory of it because obviously I haven't read all the stories, you know. But if the federal government gives them that right as a law enforcement officer, and as long as they don't abuse their power,
so I'm just doing my job.
I'm just doing my job. Because it's like you say, we can't play that card, the Black Lives Matters and the Blue Lives Matters, and you know, we can't play those cards, right?
But I have another question for you.
Okay.
Because you know, conservatives have this thing where they play, you know, the law is the law, and you know this and that. But you guys voted for a felon.
Well, actually, all his charges were dismissed. Let me go there.
They weren't dismissed. He's a felon.
His charges were dropped. He was convicted?
No. The charges were dropped by Jack Smith. But the only reason Jack Smith dropped them was because he knew under Trump they were going to get dropped anyway. He was going to get fired.
Okay, but then a felony doesn't prevent him from being in the presidency.
What's that?
So a felony does not bar him from running for office, and he got elected, and the people accepted it.
Then a misdemeanor shouldn't bar these people from staying in the country. Give them amnesty. If they're here, if a felon can run for president, why can't somebody that's been here 10 years doing everything right get amnesty and get to stay in?
But he's not taking everybody illegally. I think he's just after the criminals, and he's after the people that are refusing. That's for the most part, it is. For the most part, it is.
And if look, we're not doing any fact checks.
Okay, we're not.
But if we fact check that tonight, I guarantee you.
It's like you said, that's fake news. Fake news.
No, I guarantee you that's not true. The fact of the matter is, man, there isn't enough illegal criminals in this country. Most of the people that are here are good, decent people trying to make a living.
And I agree. And I agree 100%. Most of these people that I meet,
not criminals.
But look at Taco in Mission. What happened? The raid that they did in Mission, that he was harboring illegal aliens. Did you hear about that one, Danny? Did you hear about that? Huh? Yeah, I know you heard about it. The Taco Ole one. The Taco Ole raid in Mission. The manager for Taco Ole harboring fugitives for years. They did.
Right.
So you agree with that? That's right to do it. Because you're saying is, arrest the people that are here criminally. Well, they're not here. They were not any criminals, but he was harboring them.
You're not going to get me to say, hey, man, even the criminals should stay. No, we agree on that. Every Democrat that you're going to talk to is going to say the exact same thing. We all agree on that.
Mm-hmm.
Where we disagree is I don't want masked agents popping out of unmarked vehicles, okay, who feel like they don't have to show any kind of identification, picking up pregnant women with AR-15s. This isn't fucking a war zone.
It's not.
This is
a
war zone.
If it's going to make us safer and it's going to make us stronger,
it's not making us safer.
Then I'm 100% for it.
It's not making us safer.
How do we know?
It's dividing us.
How do we not know that?
We're proof. It's dividing us, man. Look, I mean, nobody wants this shit.
Well, people voted for it, so I would say they obviously do want it.
Well, people's feelings on this is very fluid because there was a Gallup poll that came out earlier that said 78% of people now want a pathway to citizenship for people who have been here illegally that have been doing things the right way. Good people.
Well, at the end of the day, I put a post on TikTok, and this guy came on there and he commented and said, "Let's boo this man." And he said, "Your mouth." What?
Let's
boo this man, because I had to put a Facebook post on the July 4th with me and my boys, and we were waving the Trump flag, and they said that my knees and my mouth hurt. Yeah, my knees and my mouth hurt, and I told them, well, I'd rather my knees and my mouth hurt than my feelings. You know, I'm not the feelings police, so if I'm not gonna let my feelings get in the way of them doing their job. Oh, lights. So yeah, it's like I told them. I'm not gonna let my feelings get in the way. So I rather, like I told them, I'd rather my knees hurt than my feelings. In all honesty.
When it comes to what?
To Trump. And the eyes raised and all these are like, oh, your knees might be really hurting. What he was referring to, like, my knees hurt because I suck up to Trump. No, I agree with the stuff that he's doing. So yes, I'd rather my knees hurt than my feelings. Because I'm not gonna let my feelings and my emotions get in the way of my kids being safer in school. my kids having a quality education.
But why do you think they're not safe? That's what I'm. That's
No,
what
no, no.
I'm
They are safe. They're
But-
safe.
but why
But
do you
if they
think
can
they
be
are
safer, why not?
Why-
Well, there was a raid that happened also during the course of last semester, right by Jimmy Carter, where my student goes, the early college. There was a raid right across that school where I don't know how many illegals they found in the stash house. And I'm not saying that the police is not doing their job. La Jolla Police is a great police department. I work for them. Top-notch chief of police. I'm almost solid. But most of these sheriffs and most of these law enforcement officers are like, oh, we're not going to enforce immigration law. And of course, I understand they don't have immigration powers. And I completely understand. But when governors signed that law that said, you know what, I'm going to give you powers to go and investigate. And when the law enforcement officer refuses to do that, that's where you come in, and you took an oath to serve and protect, and then you got these laws over here that tell you, hey, go do it, and you refuse to do it because your chief or your sheriff tells you no, then that's where you cross the line and you're like, what the fuck has this come to? And it's like you say, yes, we are being divided because of so much political bullshit.
Well, there is a lot of political bullshit. I mean, I would argue that a lot of that political bullshit is coming from the administration, right? So, I mean, I want to get your opinion on something, and then we can keep talking about immigration, but there's a lot of other
Yes,
topics
of
that
course.
we can get into. And later on, I want to talk about you leaving the left and
Okay,
and,
sure.
and all that stuff. And I want to go into why I rejected the right.
Okay.
But you are a Christian man.
I'm a Christian man by faith, but I'm a sinner, and I admit it 100%. We all fall short of the glory of God.
Okay. My question is, there's one injunction in the Bible, right, that repeats itself, Old Testament and New Testament. It's about how we treat foreigners, right?
Yes, I read it, and I think it says
It calls them the sojourners, right?
Yes. That you should love them and accept them.
You should love them and accept them, right? I have this thing here that's been going in my mind. Like I see a lot of my family that are Christian and that are Republicans, and there's this cognitive dissonance that I see that's playing out with them. It's like, on the one hand, you support the cruelty that's happening with these ICE raids, and then they go to church on Sundays and they praising Jesus and all this and that. How do you connect the two? Like, how does that work?
I don't think you connect it, because that's where church the separation of church and state comes in. You can't mix
So now
both.
we want to claim separation of church and state.
Well, honestly, you can't. Yeah, honestly, yes, because it's like I said, like, it sounds cruel, it sounds tough, but
So once Christian principles shouldn't influence what they do in office.
I don't think it should.
Come on.
I can't explain. I just can't. I don't know what to say. Like, you got me there, like Matthew 22. Which is Matthew 22? I don't know. I don't know that one. I don't know the whole Bible. Okay, come on.
But I mean, look, and what Christians always say, well, the Bible says, you need to follow the laws of the land.
Well, yeah, but the Bible says a lot of things. All physically visible forward.
You see, it blows my mind. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like, you're talking about, like, you hear the lies, man, and the corruption, but Trump is the counter to that.
Fuck.
It
sounds rhetorical, right? It sounds like,
I mean,
I don't want to use a word. I don't want to use a word. I don't want to use a word, right? But
okay, then help me make sense of it, because that shit don't make no sense to me, man. Like, if corruption and the lies are what you're against,
not just necessarily the corruption and the lies, because that'll be putting a lot of good Democrats down. Like when I met Danny, I told Danny, like, he was looking for precinct chairs, and when he ran for county commissioner, I liked his views and what he brought to the table, like the stuff that he was gonna push forward, Right. And I don't want to say that every Democrat's like that, I went to, like he said, several of his meetings and a lot of good stuff that he wanted to put forward, but not everybody has the same values that this man has, or the way he was raised, right? And not to suck up to him, right? But he didn't have the support of all the other elected officials. Why? Because they didn't believe in his agenda. They wanted their own little fucking agenda, which was bullshit, and that's why this man didn't win.
Would you vote for Danny?
I would have voted for Danny.
Would you vote for Danny now?
No, because of the Republican bylaws don't allow me to vote for a. Yeah, but
That's right.
and Raul's a freaking badass friend of mine.
And
I love Raul,
By
man.
the way, I invited Raul Cruz
Yeah.
onto the podcast next week.
Yeah, but Raul's always busy, man.
Don't think I forgot, bro.
Raul, you're always busy, man. You never make time for anything.
Nah, he's been on.
Nah, but he's badass, man. Raul has a whole heart of gold, man. That guy would take off his cover and
I like Raul.
yeah, he's a good man, man. He'll tell you how it is, no bullshit. He'll tell you how it is, no bullshit.
And I
Plain
want to tell
and
him how it is too, but he needs to come on.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you found the way, the truth, and the life,
The way, the truth, and the life. I am the Omega and the
and his name is Trump.
yes, sir.
All right, man. So I mean, that's an interesting story.
Yes.
It's an interesting story because the corruption you couldn't stomach.
Oh, you're not gonna stop it in either party.
The lies you couldn't stomach.
You're gonna
and then you found yourself as a Republican in Texas
in Texas.
under Abbott and Dan Patrick and Ken Paxton,
Senator
and Ted Cruz,
Senator Mexican
the
Cancun.
heavyweight champions of World. Okay, all right. That's interesting. What would you say? What would you say is like your focal issue? Like, as because some people are like single issue voters, right? Like, I talk to a lot of Christian conservatives, and they say, "Well, abortion is my issue," right? And I could never.
My focal one, and I think we already talked onto it, is that one. The immigration, and the immigration would be the number one. That would be my number one pet peeve. Not to sound racist or anything, but that would be my number one of all of them.
Why do you think it bothers you so much?
Like I said, like, we can't go do this shit in Mexico. Like, if I go to Mexico and I just like, oh no, I want to, boom, no freaking butt stock me with the AR, and you'll be lying there and you're done. Things got to be done the right way. I don't have anything against anybody wanting to come here and make a better life for themselves, right? Because at one point in time, I also wanted to leave Texas and go to another state and do better than what I was doing here, So I feel for them when they come here, like, nothing against that, but do it the right way.
Wait, would you feel differently though if in Mexico there was a whole bunch of factories that were baiting American workers, and American workers, were on the other end of the aisle, and they were going over there being baited?
No, because Mexico wouldn't allow it for you to go out there illegally. I guarantee you 100% that if they were baiting you and you go over there illegally, right away Mexico will stop that bullshit right then and there.
Right, so that begs the question.
And then that'll start a whole new political war with America stepping in. You can't do that to Americans, and then
that's exactly my point. Is that the focal point here is the government and the corporations.
Yes.
But we're taking out all our anger on the immigrants. My question is why? Like why do we make the immigrants the enemy?
I don't know.
Why do we demonize the immigrants? Why do we call them? Why do we make it seem like they're poisoning the blood of the country? Why do we make it seem like they're eating cats and dogs? They're animals, right? And it's for a reason. It's to prime Americans to get used to seeing us treat them like shit. Like everything you're seeing right now, the cruelty porn, the fucking all this shit. We've been primed already since they're releasing the prisoners and they're sending them over here to America. Hannibal Lecter, all this crazy shit that this guy says, right? Well, what's it doing? It's scaring Americans. And look, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. Like you said, the Republicans are strong. Every Republican that I talk to, there's some of the weakest people I know. They're scared of trans people. They're scared of gay people. They're scared of immigrants. They're scared of everything. Where's the strength?
But like you said, what have we come to as a civilization where we got trans women and we got to stand for them and we got to stand for their rights? It's like, what the hell? Like Trump said, there is a man and a woman, and the Bible says it.
And that's fine.
And I understand and I respect them. Everybody to each its own. But
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't got to stand for them. You don't got to go hold their hand and march.
Well, no, but then
then
they wanted to bring it into legislation, and okay, you're discriminating, and because it turns into a whole political debate that it doesn't have to. Why? Because you're not respecting their decision, and they have rights. And,
No, look, for me,
Dude.
as a Democrat and as a proud Democrat, for me, it's very simple, bro. My view is, if your son or your daughter is trans,
fine.
My son shouldn't be able to bully him.
Exactly. No, and I agree with that. 100%.
The school system shouldn't be able to bully him.
Allow it. Yes.
Right? Now, we can get into discussion about sports and all that shit.
Yes.
To me,
that's separate.
We might agree on
Yes.
most of those things, but it's just a very, very basic level of civility.
Yes.
And basic.
There you go.
Right? And that's it, man.
Basic rights.
It doesn't have to be any more than that.
Exactly.
And to me, there it ends, right? And we're just in a very, very like middle ground situation right now, where this new thing is happening, and we quite don't know how to handle it.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
The left might have taken it too far.
Yes.
But then the right wants to pretend like they don't exist, and they're scum, and they're like, come on! Like, I feel like we got to find some kind of a better way.
Meet in the middle.
In the middle, especially for this issue.
Yes.
And that's just my opinion.
No, I agree with you on that. Because I have 3 boys, and I always tell them, like, you go to school, and I saw this guy and this girl, and it's like, hey, you just be respectful, and remember, at the end of the day, you have brothers.
Yeah.
And my kids are good, man. They just question and they ask, and I'm like, there's nothing wrong with it,
Yeah, and we agree on that.
There's nothing wrong with it.
And I tell my son, I got 2 boys, and I tell them, hey, listen, when you go to school, there's going to be people that are different.
Yes.
Right? That's not your business.
Yeah, that's what I tell them.
You treat them with respect, just the way they would treat you with respect. And that's the end of the story.
Yeah.
That's it, man. And there doesn't have to be any bullying or
No.
I see you as less than or any of that stuff.
No, and it's like I tell them, like, I have friends that are lesbians, and I have friends that are gay, and it's like, it's nothing with them. I talk to them, and I'm like, why are you talking to gay? There's nothing wrong with him, man. He's a friend, and he's a friend, and I've known him for years. And it's something, when I go to school, I tell them, like, hey, there's gonna be different people. Just go on your way. There's nothing wrong with being friends with them or having.
That's like a libertarian.
Yes.
It's like more of like left. What is it? Live and let live. Are we doing over the Claudius on time?
No, we're doing pretty good. I just wanted to jump in here real quick, ask a question.
Yeah.
So they are deporting a lot of people, right? Is there some middle ground for these people, or if you're just here illegally, you got to go back?
No, there should be a middle ground. No criminal convictions, no criminal record. As long as they've been here, have a several amount of years. I'm not going to say 5 years, because most of these people have been here for 20, 30 years. As long as they have a good standing job, no convictions, no criminal records, fine. Let's try and make it work the right way,
Yeah.
But I don't know. No, I'm not just saying you're here illegally. Go.
Sounds like that's
You're a hardcore criminal?
But
Get the fuck out.
Well, we agree on that, right? You see, I'm sorry, what?
So if you just cross an invisible line on the ground, does that make you a criminal, like, immediately, or does that?
Well, what's your
person get a
definition?
chance?
What's your definition of a criminal?
Well, I mean, the definition of a criminal is just somebody who breaks the law. That
You get a traffic citation, you're considered a criminal.
you go to
Yeah,
you go to-
everybody's. So in reality, we're all criminals, because we've all got in traffic citation at some point in time.
And I don't think somebody's a criminal because he's
No. I'm not. But that's the definition of criminal. If you break the law, you are a criminal. That is the definition of a criminal. Yes, but there's greater crimes than that. But we're just saying a criminal. So a lot of people say, they're criminals. No, if they're rapists, if they're murderers, and all these other hardcore drugs, then yes, get them the fuck out.
Correct. Then
We're not going to go in North Korea and say, 3 generations back, tampoco.
But there's this story that happened close to home, because I grew up in a Pentecostal church. I grew up going to a Pentecostal church in San Benito, and there was this family that I basically grew up with. They were from Mexico. Parents were from Mexico, but the kids were born here, right? Now we're talking. This family had been here since I was a kid. I'm 39.
Yeah.
So they had to have been here over 30 years. Well, there was an article that caught my attention because they were the center of the story, and it was the matriarch. I forget her name, but it was her kids, and they were, they were talking about how ICE had picked up their mom, right? And they had her somewhere where they had no idea where she was. She was denied access to medication. She was you know, she said they had her shackled, you know, and they 2 months. This was about a month ago, but she had been in ICE custody for about 2 months, and they still hadn't heard from her.
Shit.
That's what I'm talking about, man. I'm talking about that kind of cruelty that specifically is being sanctioned by Stephen Miller, Tom Homan. Trump himself said, if Stephen Miller had his way, everybody in America would look like him. You know what that means, dude. That's not you, man. And that's not me.
Yeah.
You know, these people don't think like us. And you know what? And I understand the law's the law. We have to have borders.
Yes.
We have to have, I mean, you know, you're preaching to somebody who was a Republican.
Yes.
And we agree on that stuff. But that doesn't mean that we got to treat these people like shit. And like they're fucking animals. That's what really fucking pisses me off. You know? And what pisses me off even more is when I see people who, just because they're on the Trump team, gloating over this stuff, over the cruelty. I can understand that. I'm a white racist from the 60s. I can almost understand it, bro. In an ironic way, I can get it. You know what I mean? You know, your country looks different than what you were born. Mm-hmm. It's changed. It's a little scary. It's different. I almost understand the racism, believe it or not. But I cannot, for the life of me, understand it from a second generation fucking Mexican American, dude. Ese pinche de me da asco.
Yeah.
And it's disgusting. I don't know if you have any thoughts about that.
No. Well, I don't gloat about the cruelty. What I gloat about is the stuff when he makes it happen, when he said he was going to hire all these agents, he was going to secure the border, he was going to do tax cuts, healthcare coverage, all that. But what I don't agree with is all these people when they go out there and they protest and they're waving the Mexican flag, and it's like, you know, it's like if you're here in the greatest country of the world and you got all these privileges and everything is handed to you, but you're out there waving the Mexican flag, and it's like, then what are you doing here? That is the bullshit que a mí me da asco. Like, you know, you're over here with your Mexican hats, your Mexican area, and it's like, fuck this guy, but then what is it that you're doing here? That's,
I mean, I guess maybe on that note, we'll end on some agreement, right?
yes,
All right.
of course.
Noe?
Pleasure,
man.
Yes, likewise.
All right, guys, we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back with the roundtable.
So Trump was actually benefiting from Obama's economic policies,
And in most
when he saved the damn banks, when the banks were about to, like, y'all remember 2010 when the banks were about to not exist, and Obama went against his own party to spend billions of dollars to save the banks.
Correct.
Like, that's the type of shit that happened during the Obama years that very few people talk about. But anyway, move forward to the COVID era. Yeah, when you have the biggest public health disaster planet-wise in 100 years,
And just
there's going to be fucking economic effects.
yeah, and just to be clear, we're not blaming Trump for COVID.
Right.
You know, but there
There's
is
just shit that happens.
But there was residual effects that happen when the entire globe shuts down, right? When you got the supply go completely down because nobody's manufacturing, nobody's producing anything, and you know, people are saving up money, right? Well, when the economy opens up, you're gonna have this many dollars chasing this many goods. It's gonna cause inflation.
And there's this whole conversation about price gouging. Now, I'm not an economic expert. I didn't study economics. I don't have a PhD in it. But there is a big debate about, like, corporations also taking advantage of the situation, saying we're going to price gouge at this moment. That also could have contributed to this whole inflation piece.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, I mean, I don't know if y'all want to get in on the story of the week, the Epstein thing.
We spoke about that, didn't we? We spoke about we were touching about that when you guys were talking. Trump, when he was going for his run, talked about Bill Clinton. I believe he said president of France or somebody in the EU being on that list. And just recently, I don't know if in True Socials, he just came out and said the list is not real. I was like, okay, well, I think that you got to apologize to everybody that you hit that would be on that list. This was a lie. So other than
now that you say it, wasn't Kamala there too?
In what?
In the island? Kamala?
I've never heard about that.
Kamala. Whatever the hell they call it.
So I don't know. Is the list real or not?
I'm not like, this isn't a do or die issue for me. And when I heard those news, I was like, whatever, next news. But I'm surprised just how important this was to MAGA country, and how out of all the things that Trump is doing, this is the one issue that's going to upset you. I mean, this motherfucker just cut $1 billion in Medicaid. Like, they just signed off on it.
Trillion.
It's the Epstein files.
$1 trillion.
Yeah,
in
$1 trillion.
Medicaid.
The $1 trillion that's going to go all the way to 2034. And it's the Epstein files. Like, people just like the drama. So, like, we're really going to be talking about working class issues and really helping people. Why is MAGA so caught up on Epstein files that we knew on the left? We knew it was fucking bullshit. It's just a show. Like, it's just smoke screen. Let's not focus on the issues.
Well, in 2024, there was reported $31 billion in fraud in Medicare. That's the reason why they
Yeah. But you can't.
All the dead people.
But you can't.
I know,
guys.
I know.
That's voting. Got the wrong talking point.
The same one.
The amount
they're still receiving that.
amount that we're talking about.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm down for efficiency and cutting on waste. But I mean, we're talking about $1 trillion cut to help, like, for tax cuts for billionaires.
Here's the reason why Medicare. It's sure we need it, right?
Yeah.
I have.
That's what made this country great. Social safety nets. That's one of the things.
I have federal insurance with our work, and then I have Champ VA. And
Socialism.
Yeah, so I have all that, right? It's awesome. But the thing is, nobody will take it. Why? Because this is not something they can manipulate. I have to come all the way to Harlingen just to get my boys dental, and that's the only one that will do it. And I still have to pay out of pocket for the hospital.
Question: do you think that's going to get better or worse under Trump?
I wouldn't even know.
I think you. I think you know.
It's worse right now. I got to come out like $1,500 on Blue Cross Blue Shield dental when it says that it's free for 13 years and younger.
Not true.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we ain't no fan of health insurance companies.
The nonpartisan economists are talking about, you know, how people have to sign up for the exchange for the Affordable Care Act in November, December. I think that's when they do it. Those exchange costs they're tracked to go up 10-15% this December, because part of the cuts, part of what was funding to try to keep. I know a lot of those exchange costs were still high under Obamacare, but they're going to go up even more. And I think that's going to incentivize less people to sign up for health insurance this December. So there's going to be things that we're going to start noticing slow chewing effects from this law.
I believe
that we're not going to see tomorrow.
I believe it affects the SNAP, but the food supply, is that also for Medicaid? The 20-hour requirement, or is it 40-hour?
Medicaid.
Okay, that's good. My opinion.
I mean, I don't disagree with that. I mean.
Yeah, work a little.
Yeah.
I mean, unless I mean, there could be something I'm missing. You know, I mean,
on the people being working.
Yeah.
Like so the other thing is that 8% of people on Medicaid don't have a job. The majority are working at Walmart. Like, have y'all been tracking the Walmart employees that have been working 30 to 40 hours and they still qualify for food stamps?
Yes.
That's
because
crazy.
Walmart pays them shit wages.
Yeah.
They're not being lazy and staying at home. This whole thing about Republicans saying those people don't work and they're just a waste. No, they're working, but they still qualify for SNAP and for damn Medicaid.
That's the point.
And shit like that. So it's interesting. Like, but the Republicans are trying to frame it as like these people are a waste, but 8%. We're talking about 8% of the entire folks are actually qualify, or actually those people.
No,
and I'm going to comment on that one because that's the good one. When you say most of these people work at Walmart or Home Depot and they work 30, 40 hours, that's one of the requirements that the HHS requires you. The bare minimum for you to get food stamps is at least 15 to 30 hours.
Right.
And not to put anybody down. My mom was raised on welfare because my dad was a shitty dad. And she was my mom and my dad. And she supported us out of food stamps. But my mom worked her ass off every single day. And they will still deny her benefits. And they will still deny her and make her, like he said, go from Sullivan, walking all the way to La Jolla to tell her, no, you're not going to get them because you're not meeting enough. And some of these people that work at Walmart for 15 to 30 hours do it on purpose to be able to get the benefits.
Right.
I'm not saying they're not hardworking people.
Right.
But the majority
Walmart could
abuse
just pay them
the
better.
system.
Or Walmart could just pay them better.
Yeah,
wages.
but everybody could get paid better.
No, you think the majority abuse it?
No, not the majority, the select few. You know,
Okay.
the majority do need it because we're like I said, we come from a small community and the need is there.
Yeah.
But then when you don't give it to the people that really need it, and somebody with no social security and no identification comes in like, okay, here you go, here's your card, $600. But the people that are actually out there working their ass off and they actually need it because they actually did lose their job,
can't
get it.
So you're talking to a guy that believes in universal health care.
You
I
see,
think everybody
Well, how's that
That's-
working for Canada? So,
I believe the universal.
I mean, aren't they like really happy with their healthcare?
no.
We're the only first world nation that doesn't have a universal system.
So you like private insurance?
Okay, yeah, if you could afford it. Well, here's the thing.
Well, let's go to the problem.
Canada, let's go with that. I believe they were doing something. It was a hernia. It had something where they had to cut their leg open, right? So I could get you more. You got to look this up. In Canada, there was a patient, went simple procedure. It took them 5 months to get to it. There was degradation, like the flesh was already fucking up. It was gone. So they cut, they fix it. Cool. Now they need to sew it up. They said, "Oh, we can't find nobody. Give it a little bit. Somebody will come." 8 days passes. They have to cut the leg off because the tissue rotted. That's what you get from federal healthcare. And then also, there's also the pod where you could self-suicide.
But if the argument is,
about that, did you?
I didn't know
No,
that
yeah,
one. Suicide.
but
Oh, yeah.
if the argument is
You
that they ration care in Canada based on queue lines, right? Well, we ration care in America based on whether you can pay or not.
Well, okay. Well, private insurance. Okay, cool. Now you're going. Well, if you're going to go to an emergency, you're not going to lie that there's no immediate emergent care
No,
that's life-threatening.
It's noticeable. Right there.
Yeah, right there and then, boom, you're going to get fixed. They're going to slap it on you. Oh, sure, you're going to be with a bill. But if you accumulate that debt of going to the hospital emergency, you're not going to tell me they're going to be like, "Oh, you owe us too much money. We can't take you." They're not going to do that.
No, they can't do that by law. They can't do that.
They won't do that. So you're not going to say that healthcare system it's not sustainable. I don't think it'll work.
No,
There's
but
a lot of debt.
but like
but those are emergencies. You were talking about like a hernia, like something that's going to happen 2-3 months down the line.
Yeah. Okay.
There's the difference.
Yeah, but if you get Medicare, that's where the abuse comes, because you're not going to say that they're not going to put a large. You've seen the receipts? There's an abuse in how much they put an excess amount, versus if you have a private insurance, they're going to reduce that amount to what it actually needs to be paid, because they know insurance is they're going to look at that shit. You look at the receipt and be like, "Oh, okay, well, Medicaid's going to take care of it,"
or they just won't cover you.
Yeah, they would.
No, dude,
You've
I
seen
don't,
the
get, I don't
bills.
get too personal on this, but I had a blood marrow transplant. I'm a cancer survivor.
Yeah.
I get it. I saw the $400,000 bill
Yes.
to do the bone marrow transplant in my body. I signed off on it for my private insurance. This wasn't Medicare. My employer provides me the insurance. But like, I'm not against like cutting down against abuse, but I cannot stand with this massive cut, because the social safety nets from post World War II, post Great Depression,
The FDR.
like we know, if we want to go back to an era where we didn't have these social safety nets, study the damn Great Depression, like how far people fell. Like this isn't freaking. We don't want to be freaking India when you're part of a caste system where you can't just pick yourself up. Now we don't want people taking advantage of it. The purpose of it is to like help people just enough so they can get to the next level and be successful. My worry is massive cuts to the point where we don't have public schools, public school lunches. We don't have basic health care so people could have a little bit more dignity. My dad came over from Mexico. He only had a 6th grade education. They didn't have the K to 12. That's something that happened here. Those are things that me growing up, I thought we had a lot of pride in. And I'm hearing the current MAGA Republican Party like attacking that and cutting that. It's just very confusing to me. It's just not part of sort of the value system that cut across both Democrat and Republican. So that's part of my crutch right now. I was like, I just don't I get efficiency, I understand that, but I just thought social safety net was a key, non-negotiable for America, to me. And it seems like people are okay with people not having social safety nets. And yeah, some people are going to cheat the system, but is it worth actually hurting people that really need it? And those people are going to be hurting.
And what's crazy to me, bro, like what's more America first than social safety nets? Like what's more America first than like taking care of your people?
Right.
Educating your people, making sure your people are healthy. I mean, you would think that that is what every civilized society should aspire to. But then we're here fighting because, well, this guy over here is taking advantage of it, so nobody should get it.
Right.
What is that?
The crab mentality?
So that happened with the big beautiful bill. So who is it affected as of today? That amount that's been cut. We're not gonna see it yet.
There's projections to 2034. It'll be in pieces.
So those are what ifs. So
no. It's budget. Like the Congress voted on a budget.
Yeah, I got you.
Like it's gonna happen. It's not. Can they take it
happen
back?
overnight,
Like it's. I mean, the president signed.
Who do you think is gonna give in the medical treatments? The doctors? Do you think they're gonna give in and lower their payments, their due, how much what they're going to be getting?
I don't know.
Or you think they're just going to throw that on the people?
They'll do what they've always done historically. Throw it on the people.
So it's not just the government; it's also the medical industry.
Yeah, sure. Like the medical industry.
Welcome to the Democratic Party, sir.
Yeah, the medical. The medical industry. They're running up the bills or whatever. Blah blah blah, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Sure. Behind Department of Homeland Security, or actually head of the Department of Homeland Security, that is the biggest employer in the Rio Grande Valley. So economically, we got like a ton of nurses, that people that work in healthcare industry. We got people that do home healthcare. We got Hidalgo County that do that Operation Lone Star to like give free clinics during the summer for folks that came out on the monitor earlier. Like those are the type of things that we're looking at are in the chopping block. So we're potentially looking at people losing jobs. Now you're calling it they're running up the score in the bill, but potentially also employing and being one of the largest employers in the Rio Grande Valley.
So didn't this year Hidalgo County employees get like a $3 million raise on their staff across the board?
Exactly.
I don't know what you're talking about.
County commissioners, everybody.
No, I'm talking about private. I'm talking about the hospitals. I'm talking about the clinics. I'm talking about people that.
But those clinics, what is it really that they provide? They don't provide anything other than a basic exam and a basic little checking your tooth and telling you, okay, this is wrong, and then they send you on your way. They don't really give you any preventive or hardcore.
So you're saying we don't need it? We have the highest. We have the highest rates of cancer in the nation.
No, I'm not saying. I'm saying on the clinic, the operation.
We have the highest rates of disease, diabetes, cancer, and you guys are saying
he's like, fuck the test.
No, but that's on us. Like I didn't tell you.
No, I get it, but
So what I'm saying is, we need it, but it's on the shopping block because all they go and they check your eyes and they tell you, you know what, you need glasses, and then they send you. At the end of the day,
but you're willing to live with the people that do need it are gonna suffer. You're willing to live with that. Okay, 20% are cheating, but the 80% that really need it, fuck them.
It's like
a real Republican.
Yeah, so many insurances, and nobody
but screw the people that really need it. Screw them, because the few that messed up, por uno las llevan todos, right?
You said something personal about bone trans.
Bone marrow transplant. Okay. Yeah.
Where did you, if you don't mind, where did you get that?
Like, where did I get diagnosed?
No. Where did you get it done? Was it here in the Valley?
MD Anderson.
Huh?
MD Anderson, Houston.
Oh, Houston. Didn't I say Houston?
Yeah.
If I had that, I would.
Well, of course, I was gonna go to MD Anderson because there's the best cancer hospital, and my insurance covered it.
Yeah, Houston. Yeah, Houston's awesome. Who was I talking about moving to Houston? You, right?
Yeah. No, I love Houston
because Houston's just
second home.
All right, guys, let's move on here to the floods that happened this week. Now, what I want to ask you guys is there culpability to be had with all the Doge cuts that happened recently to the NWS, to NOAA? Should we as citizens not demand accountability for our government?
That was an act of God. What happened in where was that? It was San Antonio, San Antonio,
Texas Hills or something.
Kirk County.
Kirk County. So here's the thing. That was an act of God. And the thing is, aren't they already for a vote of confidence for the fire chief, or who was it that failed to send people as fast as they did? It was, I can't remember who that guy is. It's like an incident, incident commander. He failed. It took him like 9 hours to send somebody. Yeah. Now within a day they had 1,700 personnel.
But what I'm asking is, are we wrong to like ask the question?
No, it's not wrong. On TikTok, I was hitting up a lot of people because I know there was a pediatric lady that was, I can't remember, somewhere in Texas, that was just saying something horrible about it, that those kids deserved it because their family probably voted red. And I was like, well, that's bad. It's bad. And then people would answer on that saying that we as a state, where's FEMA? and I would be like, oh, they're stepping on the children that are missing, the adults that are still missing. It's just as worse as the pediatrician.
Yeah.
That's already been let go and fired.
But
Oh,
they-
yeah, I heard about that story. She got fired.
They deserved it because they voted for him.
Yeah, and that's wrong. That's what people were doing. They're just using it. They were relating it to South Carolina. As
She basically said like that's what they had coming.
Yeah, it's a fashion statement. That's what people were using in the early days. So that's horrible.
It's such a shitty thing to say.
You saw how
Yeah,
fast that
yeah.
shit came in
I agree.
through.
Yeah.
It was horrible, and that's people wanted to throw their 2 cents in it. Just like somebody was saying earlier, oh look, Mexico sent somebody, some firefighters. They sent 13 firefighters. Personnel, I believe, was 19. They said 19. So what? The 1,700 Texans that went, they did nothing. This wasn't about Mexico and Texas. It was about finding the people that were missing.
Right.
Yeah,
but nobody's
that's
saying
what
that.
people wanted to focus on. They wanted to focus.
Nobody's saying no. I think
No,
that,
not here. I'm talking
Yeah,
about social media.
there's been a lot of hot takes
Yeah.
on that, and I could have easily gone on TikTok, and then but I just don't know. Like I would have to like really research what the local county commissioners, if that had been warned about.
but
you know, are they a flood zone? Because you know how FEMA has flood zones. Like Wessex a flood zone under FEMA. Were they offered federal funds before to improve their drainage systems, et cetera, et cetera? But that's going to take time to like really realize. Not the type to be like, oh, these freaking people deserved it.
They want to blame Governor Abbott because they defunded the meteorologists, the weather people. So, and they want to. How do they not have the tools to say, oh, the night before, oh, it's three inches of rain. That's all they're going to be. How do you go from 3 inches of rain, mass flood?
But like, why do you want to fire meteorologists though?
No. It was defunding. It was because they wanted instruments.
No. But like, just
It was defunding.
I guess just humor me on this. I'm like, what? Give me the argument for like defunding NOAA and like the national weather systems. Like, what's the argument for that?
That's Texas politics, man.
I think everything. I think Republicans are for privatizing everything.
That's what it is. They want to take it private.
Yeah, let's kill the public part and eventually make private dollars out of it.
But don't get me wrong.
That's usually the move. Like they're
But just out of
somebody's gonna fill
curiosity,
the gap. Somebody's gonna fill in the service. So let's privatize it. So like private, mis compadres. I'm gonna hire my compadres to do this job instead of giving it to the public.
But don't get me wrong. Even though they say the defunding of NOAA, here's the thing. There's usually this came out from, I believe, Newsmax, or it would be MSNBC. There was 4.
it's either one or the other, man.
Okay, it could be, people could be across the board. There was 4 on staff, meteorologists, and it's usually 2. So they were double staffed. So they can't say that they were understaffed. They had plenty of people on staff that day.
So then you think it's timing, right? Like you get all these cuts, and then it just
Back to what I was saying in the beginning, it was an act of God. Shit happened.
I do think that if they had
It was
like
a national disaster. You can't.
But you got to admit also that didn't stop the Republicans from politicizing the California fires.
Not religious wise, but act of God is natural. That's what basically the term is used legally. That's what the legal term is. Act of God is just shit happens.
Yeah.
You just won't know. It's just
Natural disaster.
national disaster.
yeah.
That's what we use that word.
I mean,
act of God. That's what
The only
not God.
argument I've heard is that if there was supreme infrastructure, like the way that it's been offered that I heard it before, it could have saved some people, but because the disaster was so big, it would have still killed a lot of people, or majority of people. But it could have made it less impacting, but we don't know.
Have y'all heard?
It's too early to tell. Like
Have y'all
if
heard?
there was sirens, I lived in Arkansas, Missouri. At some point, if the people heard sirens with a warning sign and let's get the hell out of here, let's jet. That siren means you got to jet. If those things existed, maybe it would have saved some people, but it was so fast.
I think we still small towns still do have that, right? Yeah.
Siren?
Yeah, those the water towers, they have it.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they do. It's just
So I don't
they're
know.
Rarely used.
I don't know what Kerrville had or not. You know, I guess that's just something to investigate.
You gotta go one invest in.
Yeah, I grew up in a small town. I said I was born in Corpus. I lived in Houston, but I was right there near San Diego, near Alice, middle of nowhere. And so that I still heard that thing go off.
All right, guys. Ice. I know. Ice, baby. You had some thoughts on the religious aspect of this earlier. What's
Well, what you are you talking about? You're talking about how they're issuing execution and of the
well, not yet,
warrants and
but
picking
executions
them
are
up?
coming.
Yeah, man. I don't think there's gonna be that. Nah, I don't think that'd be too far. I think the country would everybody unite and overturn that happened.
What's that?
Depending on
And what happened?
I don't know, man.
We execute them.
executing warrants, and then he was talking about in general. But what I was telling him earlier was with Matthew 22. Basically, when you were asking him if there was any religious aspect to it, it was basically the things that are of Caesar, and the things that are of God in this world. And this is pertaining to Matthew 22, I believe 15. It was on the tax collector. And then we would go to Romans 13, where basically following the law is something respectable you do to foreigners. You respect the law. You do what is good. But obviously you have your faith in your Father. So, but the thing is, ICE and how they're doing it, the Homeland Security's, I believe they're doing what they should have been doing since Obama. When Obama said, "Oh, you came here illegally, we're gonna deport you," and it wasn't just Obama. This was also Hillary Clinton. They were so aggressive in the early 2008, 2012, and all of a sudden they just shifted and went like, "Oh no, we can't get rid of our voter base." Yeah, that's what they did, and that's still online. You can still see the videos where basically Obama came in front of the camera. He said, "You came in this country illegal, you're out. You do a crime and you're here on visa, you're out." He was aggressive, and I still think that Obama is the king of deportation.
What they call him, the deporter in chief.
Yeah, he's 1.6 million in his first term versus 900,000.
Can I interject on that?
Yeah,
Because
sure.
I talked about it last time with you, right? Like, I'm confused about like why you have it both ways, right? About this Obama thing.
Yeah.
You're saying that Obama deported more people than any other president in history.
He made the cages.
But so you use that.
Well, he
talking
did make the
point.
cages.
He did make the cages.
So I assume you liked Obama's immigration policies.
Well, let's just get it right
If
here.
he's deporting more than Trump, then you should like Obama.
Here's my thing about Obama. When I joined in 2009 and he came on and he said, "Oh, we're going to be sending people to Afghanistan," man, I was terrified. I was like, "Oh shit, we're going to Afghanistan." And as soon as I get to my unit 6 months later, I'm in the mountains of Afghanistan. I didn't even know I was going to be there. And the only thing I could be in my head is all like, "Fucking Obama." I'm over here in this mountain. Like, what the hell am I doing over here?
Well, I appreciate you for your service, man.
Nah, it's good, brother.
but,
That was a long time ago.
But yeah, that's just been my thing that we're first of all talking about, but broader discussion on my opinion about immigration. I think there's like two major things to think about really broadly about immigration and how it works. So I appreciate you bringing in the theology perspective, which I think is really important. I also think about it theologically sometimes. I'm thinking about, my brother's keeper or our neighbor. Not super religious, so I'm not really well versed, but I do know that there's like really like neighborly scripture in there. But I will say that big picture, it's a big money machine. The immigration issue is a massive money machine. If there's one thing that Republicans or politicians and even Democrats understand is money. So off this big, beautiful bill, Geo Group and Civic Corps, which are the two largest private prison industries in the country, they're gonna bank in. I mean, these were some of the largest donors to Donald Trump and Republicans because they were betting that these guys were gonna incarcerate more migrants. So now that Trump won and the Republicans took power of Congress, the politicians delivered, and now they're gonna fill up all these prisons, and they just approved $45 billion in more private prisons, and the more people that get into these prisons, the more money, private money for these folks. So to me, Trump invested in it. Stephen Miller invested into these private prisons. It's like, I think it's like complete corruption. We're talking about local corruption. I mean, this is taking it 100-fold, bro. When you know that those private prisons are going to make money because you're going to pass laws that are going to send federal dollars to those private prisons to incarcerate these people, that's a big problem with me. You're incentivizing the incarceration of people. Vast majority, 10% of them have criminal records. The vast majority are working people.
But that is true, though, Gilbert.
Well, no, it's not the truth part that I'm going. I'm agreeing with him. But
Yeah,
here's the thing.
the theme today for me is I think you all are seeing my theme is that they're going towards privatization. They're privatizing prisons. They want to privatize the
weather
letter
systems,
carriers. They want
everything.
to privatize schools. It's happening here in Texas with the vouchers, all that stuff. That's the general philosophy of what we're saying from Trump and the Republicans.
Not just Trump and Republicans. This is the same thing I was talking about when we were sitting down. I was talking about it's every politician.
Right.
Is there a what's it called? But it's every politician. They want their take. That's the reason why politicians are millionaires
Right.
on a $200,000 or $300,000 salary. The reason why they're millionaires because they try to get their shake. That's what we're talking about when we're sitting down.
Yeah.
The outside of the shirt, whichever party you want to see it, and then the opposite would be the inside of the shirt. It's the same fabric. They're all cut from the same cloth.
No.
It's just they disagree. They have their agenda, and when we have our agenda.
But there's gradients though. Like not every politician is the same, right? So like you get somebody like Bernie Sanders, right?
The socialist?
Who the socialist who you can say whatever you want about him, but is there any doubt that if he was in office, I mean that motherfucker would be America first. That motherfucker would be trying to do everything that he can to help people out. I mean, do y'all disagree with that?
He'll buy 30 more houses though.
Huh?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, compared to getting a private $400 million jet from Qatar, I mean, the thing with Trump, bro, is that the corruption is so brazen. You know, like the corruption it's like in your face. You know, and so like going back to Bernie Sanders, right? Even if it were true that the man were corrupt, right? I mean, I guess that's something that we got to accept from politicians nowadays, right? But he's been fighting for the same things his entire life. The guy hasn't changed his tune. If you hear him in the 70s, he sounds like he does in 2025. Danny, that's I mean,
Trump, right?
the guy's huh?
Talking about Bernie.
Oh no, Trump. Oh, okay.
Oh, and
His
Trump,
speech just sound the same.
well,
I
Trump,
was like, I heard you say that, but I was like, Trump is the same way.
yeah, no, Trump too.
Trump came out
He's-
Winfrey, Oprah Winfrey, up in the 80s.
He's been
remember that?
consistently terrible.
Yeah, no, he's been consistently accurate in what he would do if he became president. Even back then, he said he wouldn't go into politics, and then right when he started going into politics, he's said the same thing in the past 35 years.
Well, I mean, he's gone back on a lot of his on the things that he said he was going to do.
Yeah, but there's only so much you can do as a president. You got to know that they'll have a promise. They can't go 100% because, especially him not being a politician all his whole life.
He could release the Epstein files.
Is that the hill? Is that the hill?
No. Definitely. There's plenty of other hills with Trump to that.
It's not a deal breaker. The Epstein files.
I mean,
It's just like
maybe not for you, maybe not for Danny, or maybe not for Noe even, but for a lot of people in the MAGA community, it is a deal breaker. I've been seeing a lot of MAGA tears over this one.
My only thing is, in his administrator, I believe I spoke to you about it, was the suppressors and the SBRs and the short barrel shotguns to be removed from the registry. It's no longer a tax; it's a registry now. I was hoping that for the big beautiful bill.
Did you get it?
Well, no, they filed the lawsuit on July 4th.
No.
The moment he signed it, they filed the lawsuit. It was I would say, I know BNT is on there, USA. I think GOA, Gun Owners of America, they filed that lawsuit.
So I'm just I'm out of curiosity, like for the Trump supporters. I mean, how do y'all feel about the promise of the reduction in the deficits and the debt, and just to go back on that promise? Is that a deal breaker for you guys or no?
I mean, I see trajectories like at the end of this year and then next year. I do believe that tariffs could pay it off. I see it. That's what he aims to do, right? With tariffs, pay off debt.
Pay off debt.
Pay off.
But of course, the debt.
But that's a tax on us, though. We're gonna pay that debt. It's a tariff.
Yeah, it's a tariff on goods. Yeah.
That we're paying for.
as a consumer, like the corporation is going to raise its whatever tax or price on the product.
So like when Donald Trump says like I'm gonna this 50% tariff on China, a lot of people I feel think that China's paying for that. We're paying for that. The t-shirt company who's buying t-shirts from China, the owner of that t-shirt company, he's paying the 50% tariff from
I'll play devil's
China.
advocate. How is China hurting? Like, yeah, maybe the U.S. consumer is hurting, but is China also hurting?
What in
Like
what aspect?
in that type of tariff? Like, yeah, the U.S. consumer is hurting, It's going to hurt because they're going to raise prices. But is China also hurting from not benefiting from the trade?
Well, that's supposed to be the point, right? Like the point is supposed to be to get American consumers to stop buying shit from China.
Right.
So that's the point, is to try to hurt them, right? And to get consumers to buy stuff that are.
I remember somebody did a report on that with the shipments leaving China to the United States. Somebody did basically photos of the ports in China, and then actually where they travel, and how when we hit them with 100 and some % tariffs, how their ships would normally move, and how the port would look versus when they got hit. Nobody was working. Nobody was moving nothing. So I would imagine that would affect a lot of them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You see, but since the Chinese, and I remember those stories at the time, but the Chinese government, since they're an autocracy, what they did was they told their people, listen, we got a lot of overstock since the Americans aren't buying anymore. So that overstock, we're going to sell it to you at a discounted price. So they could help out their own manufacturers straight from the top. And here in America, I mean, were there any incentives in this bill for manufacturing? I haven't heard of any. I mean, I could get behind some of what Trump's doing when it comes to tariffs. Like I'm not like, all opposed to it. I mean, there's certain things that are good. Like targeted tariffs are a good thing. Biden kept a lot of the tariffs that Trump had in his first term. But I mean, the thing is, a lot of it seems so, haphazard. Was it haphazard? Haphazard? What was the term?
Sort of like a tactic, scare tactic.
Negotiating. Right. So he just came out that he was going to tax, he was going to tariff Brazil another 50%. And he was going to do that because he didn't like the way they were treating Bolsonaro. So it had nothing to do with like manufacturing. It just, he wants to get his way in other parts of the country. I mean, now you can say that's a good thing or it's a bad thing, but that just seems like a bad way to do business. Now they're burning American flags in Brazil, just like they were doing in Canada. I'm pretty sure there's a steel man for the Trump case, right? Like there's got to be a steel man for why we're pissing off our friends. What is it? Like, what's the rationale behind that? Anybody?
I'm a loss.
So I mean, what's the point behind like making enemies out of like historically the countries that have been our friends?
I mean, the only thing that I've heard from like Charlie Kirk or whoever is on that, TikTok sphere is that the argument has been like, oh, let's keep them confused, let's keep them on their toes.
4D
but now I'm here.
Trust Trump is the argument.
Now I'm hearing the 4D. I'm hearing the Europeans are calling Trump taco.
Taco tits.
Because now they're no longer fearing the tariff threats because now they think it's full of crap. What does it stand for? Trump always
chickens out.
Like, yeah, he's gonna threaten us with these tariffs, but he doesn't really come through.
And he keeps extending deadlines.
So if you don't actually do it at some point, I thought this too. I was like, this guy just keeps backing out. These countries are just gonna get used to like this guy's just. These are just words. Like,
and eventually
carry weight.
And eventually, you know what? Trump, I got to give Trump credit though, for something, is because he's really exposed the fact that like America isn't the hegemonic power that it once was, right? Because the Trump's whole theory of the case was, listen, we're America, the world needs us. Right. And so we can basically do whatever we want on the world stage. We're going to tariff everybody and they're going to come knocking on our door the next day, begging us to make a deal. They were so confident about it that they said they were going to get 90 deals in 90 days. How many deals do we have? Not only that, but the Secretary of the Treasury, Scott Bessent, came out and says, actually, nobody's calling us.
Yeah, didn't Sheinbaum do something? Mexico? I can't remember. So many times.
I mean, so what's the strategy?
Talking about the president of Mexico?
Yeah, it's like they had done some like agreement, but I think it was temporary. I don't know. There's been so damn tariffs that I lost track.
But Mexico's Mexico. Mexico does need us.
Yeah, Mexico is doing mass deportations and riots right now.
And
I was in Mexico City last week. I saw that protest.
Really?
I was there.
Yeah,
you had mentioned that earlier. Explain that real quick.
Basically the past, I wouldn't say past few years, let's say recent time, like a year, 2 years, more people have been moving to bigger cities in Mexico because it's cheaper. And they Airbnb, certain restaurants, establishments have been raising the costs.
Right.
And that's been affecting the people that live there because they still make $800 a month?
Yeah. It's gentrification in Mexico City.
Yeah, they don't make a lot of money in Mexico at all, period. I go to Mexico and I spend probably 15,000 pesos, whatever that is in dollars. I'll save that, and that's how much I'll spend, and it's lavish. And I go to Monterrey a lot, so
Yeah.
but 15,000 to somebody that lives there, that's basically like a 3-month or 2-month wage.
Yeah.
And I do that in 3 days. So basically, they're just rioting. They're upset, trashing establishments. They want gringos to go home, but they're eating their own. They're pushing them out. The prices are going to stay the same. They might go down, but the thing is, their economy is going to shoot down as well.
Yeah, because damage was already done. The corporations already invested into that, into La Condesa, into Roma, that part of Mexico City. So the idea is that, so really, where this really exploded was during COVID. All these digital nomads. I work from home, so I could have easily gone to Mexico City and worked from there and lived there and lived a cheaper life because I work from I just work from my computer. So a ton of Americans did that, and then the corporations caught on, investors, developers, and they just started charging. Not like American prices, but sort of in the middle between the Mexican and American price, where it's still cheap enough to entice Americans to stay, but still a lot more expensive for the locals. And so they feel like they're being forced out, and they can't afford to no longer live in Roma and Condesa, sort of like the nice part of Mexico City.
Yeah. And Mexico's president, I'm talking about mass deportations. They're sending people back to the south. They have a huge wall. Their border patrol is legit. They got a wall. They got everything. They cut through the forests. They're pretty strict. Well, there was Biden. They just let them all slip through, so you can't stop the huge caravans. But
didn't Biden deport like a shit ton of people?
Not as many. You don't remember that thing that happened in Eagle Pass? How they're just
not like Obama.
They were coming in.
I mean, he ain't but isn't it the case that even Biden, like when you go like pound for pound, day for day, like was deporting more than Trump is now? Can you look that up real quick?
Yeah,
I doubt it.
But back to the president, when she came on, I believe last week, they asked her a question about the cartel. Oh, they have their way in how they represent themselves, how they speak, and us politicians have to speak this way because that's how we use our language. So they're condoning violence.
They are.
Massive kidnappings. Women are still disappearing. Mass graves are still happening once a month. And so, and politicians are still being murdered. And they're just letting it happen. Mayors, city locals, let it all go. It's like, it's okay. Because they know that they're not going to be affected because they're paying.
But it seems to have been like that in Mexico,
like
president through president, right? Yeah.
That's the reason why my wife's family came over here, paid for what they had to do, because...
Let me find out they came here illegally.
No, they came here legally. It was all paid for. I paid a little bit. But I'm not going to go too much on that. They asked me not to bring them up that as much. But the thing is, when it hit Monterrey, they're not there no more. But when it did hit about like 15 years ago, it hit hard. They try to extort everybody.
Yeah.
So they saw what was going on. They said, "No, we got to get the fuck out of here."
Yeah.
And they did. They got lucky because
she always avoids the question of the cartels, and you can see in her mouth how she trembles when she talks about the cartels. And even Trump offered to send the military out there, and she's like, "No, you're not gonna assault our people. You're not gonna assault our people." But her own people are assaulting her people. So
yeah.
What the fuck
Claudius?
So going back, just starting from the George Bush administration, they topped out at a little bit over 2 million people deported in 8 years. The Obama administration between 2009 and 2017 removed a little bit over 3.1 million immigrants. The Trump administration, the first term from 17 to 21,
should be 900.
930,000.
Pussy.
Yeah.
And the Joe Biden administration deported roughly 740,000.
Oh shit! So okay.
Yeah. So 400. It was 900,000 in his 4 years. He got 3.1 with Obama. As right now, I believe they have him since he started his administration to right now in June, I believe he's somewhere at 200,000. So it looks like he's about to hit that. Even with how aggressive he's being, he's about to hit that 400,000. So I would,
like no debate here about Obama deporting a lot of people, but I would look at those statistics if some of those are returned, because I think they count those individually.
Oh, you're right.
You deport a person, you deport him, you deport it. They call us and you deport him, and it counts as an individual. It's probably a little smaller. It's still a lot of people.
This is like the people crying in the women's NBA. How what's her name was hitting those rebounds, shooting, getting their own rebounds, and breaking records with the rebounds.
With Biden, I heard you talking earlier about all the people crossing Peñitas and Palmview and that the whole area, and how it was just like every day, massive crowds of people. So y'all remember closely. Let's go back to 2020, 2021. Everything had to be shut down because of Title 42. Y'all remember Title 42?
Yep.
And Trump implemented Title 42, and so the rule was that nobody could cross. I mean, not even we could fly in over there, I guess, as U.S. citizens, and we could go to Mexico, but nobody from Mexico could cross the bridge
because of COVID.
So over a number of years, 1, 2, 3 years, accumulated, all the people that were migrating from Central America and the world, they kept coming, but they weren't crossing. They kept coming. And that's why you saw these massive camps in Reynosa and Matamoros. So it created a bottleneck. And it was full of all these fucking people ready to cross. It created a bottleneck, and they were all there. So by the time that, the COVID era ended and Biden ended Title 42, that bottleneck exploded. They weren't trickling in like before because they weren't being held back by Title 42 before. So the imagery looked like, man, these people are coming in waves because all those people were already here. They weren't trickling in because they were being held for 2 or 3 years at the bridges. So when you open the door, it looked that way. The people were like coming in waves.
Yeah, I remember.
So I want people to think about that too, like the context of how and why it looked like we had all those camps from people from Haiti, Venezuela, Central America, because traditionally they would be trickling in and it wouldn't feel so heavy on the people locally.
Yeah, nobody forgot because it was a laughing stock, because what happened was all these states were saying, oh, we'll be a sanctioned state, and what happened? We started just shoveling to them. What happens when they get 10,000? They're like, no, we can't handle these people.
Yeah,
they were all talk.
Yeah.
Refresh my memory, Danny. Under Obama, were we invading churches and middle schools and all that shit?
No, there's I forgot what the rule was. There's a federal rule that Obama abided in that they wouldn't mess with churches or schools. And I think Trump on day one signed an executive action that it was fair play. I forget the name of it.
Just remember Canada does that.
Just out of curiosity, like, do you all support that?
Huh.
I'm gonna put you on the spot, but it's an important question.
Okay, well let's go with this. I break into your house. I sit down and watch the movies and I eat. Nothing with the immigration. You get me on the camera, right? I go to the convenience store and I say, oh shit, I did bad. Let me go to the church. I still did a crime, right? So you think that there should be a barrier between outside and the church? Sure, they could wait outside.
That's a terrible analogy.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, you committed a crime.
But he nailed it.
But I nailed it. It's there. You committed a crime.
It's the house of God. You're going to use God to seek refuge for a crime you committed?
Here's the thing with that. If you actually if you look at all these,
that's terrible.
So then let me go.
That's a terrible thing to say, man.
He said exactly. His analogy is perfectly. Let me go kill someone, but let me go talk to my pastor and say, I want to kill somebody, but I just want to buy time in church. Give me a few weeks so I can get my affairs in order and then call the cops and take me out.
It depends on the time of day.
I guarantee you the cops are going to go in there and take you out.
I do agree. If
even at the local level.
Going on, police to wait outside because they could just inflame the situation. They could cause people. Sure. Are they going in there when there's mass going on? I don't know. If they're going in there when everybody's in there, depending on what state.
That's a bridge too far for you, finally?
Well, it's not a bridge too far. These are all hypotheticals. This is the same thing that I learned in the military.
They're not hypotheticals because it's happening.
It's the same thing when I learned in the military, man. When you do, it was urban terrain. When you go in, there could be a couch here. There could be a couch there. No. You go in, right, left, center, hit walls. That's it. You can't just make all of these possibilities and think, oh, that's what it's going to be. No, the only thing we're thinking about is right, left, center. What is there? What is there to be? What can we do to remove the situation from there? You don't know what they're going to do. So are they going in? I don't know. They're going in. I didn't read the articles of where they're going in or they're waiting outside. If they're waiting
I can send you some articles. I promise you it's happening.
If they're waiting outside, would that make you feel better if they came in and just grabbed them after church?
Bro, with all the actual crime that's happening, it'll make me feel better to fucking get people that are actually dangerous to society.
Well,
that would make me feel better. What Trump originally promised was to get the criminals. That would make me feel better.
Yeah.
But where the fuck are you going to churches, bro? Middle schools where a coach has to fucking fend ice off because they're picking up kids? You can't possibly be for that, man.
I do know that there was one like in New Hampshire where they picked them illegal immigrants, but these guys they committed to have a criminal history. Then they said, oh, well, what about this guy? It was all, well, he's an illegal immigrant, but he committed no crime. He was just living with somebody that committed a crime. So guess what? The crime is you came into this country illegally.
So it
kind of sucks, but you got grabbed up.
So I don't mean to be a conspiracy theorist because that's not what I do.
Yeah, it's okay.
But
we have opinions.
Get Danny on a couple of beers and suddenly.
One conspiracy theory was that to guess who the hell were these masked men that are unmarked grabbing people off the street. I mean, I don't think it would be too far fetched to think that Trump recruited Proud Boys to work for ICE. And
how do we know?
Oath Keepers.
Well,
I don't know, but I could just be a conspiracy theorist and be like, this guy
isn't the Proud Boys
pardoned all these Proud Boys that attacked the Capitol that were white supremacists.
Stand back and stand by.
Some of them, that are white supremacists. Put a mask on them so they're not identified as white supremacists and have them go chase the damn migrants down. Because they're the ones that actually want to get violent. Because I know ICE agents and Border Patrol agents that will never be down for that shit. So you got to go recruit some other guys that are down to do that shit, to get aggressive like that.
Some are actually resigning in protest. Good on them.
So wasn't it that long ago the union was calling it, they were no longer the border, they weren't the Border Patrol, they were the Welcome Patrol? I highly doubt that. I don't know where you're getting your thing from because I have a lot of people that.
So I said it's a conspiracy theory.
Yeah. Border Patrol is all down for that. They want to protect the country.
The Welcome Patrol?
No, yeah. That's what they called them. They actually made they did an interview and they actually called them.
But they're not tear gassing people here at freaking fields on 7 Mile Line where they're like, growing crops or whatever the hell in La Villa. I'm not seeing that from Border Patrol.
Yeah,
at least locally.
No, I mean,
but ICE agents, it's a different. Maybe we haven't seen it here enough. I mean, it's been part of the national news in LA. People on horseback in the middle of a park that's empty.
No, because they're trying to make an example out of sanctuary states and sanctuary cities.
Right.
So in Texas, I mean, you might see it. I mean, wait till they actually get all their funds that they're going to get now from the big beautiful bill. What they're going to be. ICE is going to be the most funded agency.
Do you know that ICE is going to be bigger than the Russian and Israel military?
It's fucking crazy.
They're going to be way bigger than the FBI. Way bigger than
like I'm some kind of fucking.
And Florida's GDP is almost as big as Russia's.
So
Texas GDP is almost double the Mexico's.
Hey, you go crush some farm workers in the field.
So like you have no issue with that? Like of all of these we could be spending money on, bro, we're fucking just dude, we just see the world different, man. Like
what is it we could be spending better?
But like, why are immigrants
fucking
like
healthcare? Fucking,
are immigrants
taking care of your people?
Are immigrants the ones deciding that you're not getting paid more, or are they the ones like giving you healthcare or not? Like, why are they the boogeymen?
That's the root of the question right there.
Like, why are they the?
That's the root of the problem. It's like
why are they the scapegoat of the back? And they've always been since the 1882 Chinese Exclusion Act. I don't get to study history when the Chinese had all these jobs building their railroads and white people were getting pissed off, so they passed the Chinese Exclusion Act. And then we have Operation Wetback in the 50s, deported all kinds of citizens. Because,
Eisenhower, yeah.
During Eisenhower, and we've had all these examples. They wanted to stop Italians and Irish from coming because they were taking jobs or whatever. We have a history of that. So we don't learn from our history. It seems to be repeating itself.
I believe the history, what you're talking about, started in 1912. That's where the separation happened.
What separation?
Where they started. Well, the thing is, there was never. You could cross over from in El Paso, or also in Eagle Pass. Laredo.
Right.
You could cross over freely.
So the Border Patrol got founded in 1924.
Yeah, but it was in 1912.
It was like they call them the something Oath Keepers, and then the Texas Rangers were the ones that were mostly patrolling.
Yeah,
the border and stuff. And by the way, the Texas Rangers hung Mexicans that were from here, so that history ain't pretty. Anyway, I don't mean to go back 100 years, but that stuff still has like a mark in the psyche of how like the border militarization started.
Okay, so
Sorry, did I go too deep there?
No,
Did I start talking about 1800s.
Oh, I could go all the way back to 1800s.
But the thing is, we're gonna talk about immigration. There's a whole like history of this,
Right.
of how we landed here. Like it's hard to just talk about what happened this year without
Yeah,
trying to explain the history of it.
the whole thing of the history with that basically the stolen land. Okay, 'Cause that, to me that makes me laugh.
That ain't mine. That ain't mine. Fucking.
That's
that ain't my
a
flavor.
lot of people are like, that makes me laugh because the thing is, who stolen land?
So-
Indigenous, the Mexican Empire.
Well,
Spanish
you know what,
Empire.
So here's the thing. What
Wanna get
you
Danny's
know about
thoughts on
the
this?
Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo?
Yes.
So the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo is that when the Mexicans that were living here, it became the United States, they were promised to keep their land, the ones that already lived here.
Yeah, they ain't gonna keep that.
So that was the land. That was the land that was stolen
So
because they were promised by the U.S. government to keep their land.
So the U.S. government went conquered Mexico. They were in Mexico City.
Right.
Okay.
I was at the castle. I learned.
Yeah. Okay. How is it that we're gonna defeat Mexico? Where an instance in any history, in U.S. history, Mexico, any history, do we defeat a country and we'll say, hey, well, here's $15 million, which is a lot of money back then. $15 million. Nowhere. We paid for it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we were in Mexico City. We look, they looked at it and be like, oh, we don't want this pile of shit. We don't need it.
No, because there was from Brownsville to San Diego, there was 100,000 people. That's nothing. There was the population of McAllen in the entire southwest, like it was a vast open land, right? There wasn't that many people.
Oh, just so you know, people don't teach that in Mexico because my wife said she didn't hear none of that when she was being raised in Monterrey.
Yeah, right. Everybody has.
Yeah, because the thing is, she said, oh, well, yeah, they went to California. They were all proud and stuff to defend the land that was being taken. No, there was about 8,000 that went, and they only ended up with 4 because the rest were all deserting.
Yeah.
People that were outside of Mexico City, they didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, come with us. We're gonna drag you on. It's all like, no, I don't care about you. I care about my town. Yeah. That's
So I mean, the
they
big
had
could go
no
on
problem.
forever, but the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, taking it back to that point, is very specific policy where the U.S. promised Mexicans that already lived here, going back to 7th generation. I don't know if you had Spanish, your families had Spanish land grants or whatever from back before it was Mexico.
Nah, the King
Right,
Ranch
the
had that.
people that lost the people that lost their Spanish land grants when the Anglo settlers came in and said, this is our land now, and they had the Texas Rangers to be their backup, right? Like, get out of this land. And the judges were with the Anglo settlers. So there was a time where every single elected official in the valley
That's your team, Gilbert.
and the business owner was Anglo.
The gun's gone.
85% of the population Mexican, but every single elected official was Anglo. So there's a whole history to that. I don't know if it affects the psyche to this day, but I think it's interesting history. I don't know if it's relevant to the question that you brought up earlier, but
Well, I mean, I actually want to take this time. Wentz, do you have any questions for the guys? Nothing.
Well, when they were raising the question of raiding churches, so separation of church and state only applies when it's beneficial to them, apparently. You know.
And okay, so what he's saying is that when ICE agents are raiding churches, that there were at least this is the way I'm interpreting the question, is that Republicans are real hard on church, right? And but apparently when it comes to like illegals, like there's no boundary, right? Like I had seen this post on social media, and actually my cousin was in Georgia, and he sent me a poster that people were posting on light posts saying, report illegals, whether they're in your church, in factories, whatever, report them. And it was by the local KKK. It wasn't a joke. These were posted in light post.
Bro.
That's
It's like he
fucking
said
wild,
that
bro.
he was in the military, and again, I thank you for your service. It's like he said, he has a mission to do, and he's gonna go take care of the mission, and fuck everything else. We'll take care of the details later. He's got to worry about himself.
That's what the Nazis said.
And
though.
again, I don't know the details of or the research or why they're going in there. I don't have the backstory. I don't have the backdrop of why they're going inside the churches. So then again, I don't know why they're doing it.
But
I can't question it.
Hey, but I'm just doing my job. Is what the Nazis said in the Nuremberg trials, man, and they got hung anyway. Because eventually, bro, like that's not an excuse.
Yeah, but they were burning people. They were shooting people. They were not giving them food. That's the difference between us grabbing them, sending them back.
I mean, wait till you find out what this alligator Auschwitz is all about.
I've been hearing about that. I heard about this. I heard about it. I thought it was a laughing deal. I was like, man, they're crazy.
It's fucking wild, bro. Like it's crazy. And then they asked Trump about it, and he's like, well, if they run from side to side, they got a 1% chance to start. And they're making a fucking joke out of it, dude. Like cruelty porn, bro. It's cruelty porn. Fuck these people, dude.
Can I ask a question to my conservative brother here?
Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. What's up, bro?
So there's been a lot of research of why like Latino men shifted towards Trump in South Texas, right? And then there's been some research alluding to it's because of his leadership, because of his values, family values. Like, what would you all say are like the value system that he portrays, that it radiates to you guys? That's what I like about him. Like, if there's anything about the man that like you really like I know I know he's controversial, but what is it that really like?
What makes you want to put his head on Rambo's body?
So here's the thing. To me, what I hear, what he says, It's consistent to what I see. He has a message. He's going forward with it. He has been most of the way on that message. Now, you're not going to tell me he doesn't sound like somebody that's in your family, like a drunk uncle or somebody that you're like,
he's relatable.
Yeah, he's relatable. He's all like, that guy. Any other politician that you can relate to that?
So he's a vibe, is what you're saying.
He's a vibe, yeah. But his message, he was sound on it. He was good on economy, basically illegal immigration. Everything is for the United States.
I like my drunk uncle, but I don't want to.
I took the words right out of my mouth.
I want to hear from Noe.
The thing for Democrats is why they're so mad is, like he said, the message is clear. He delivers on his promises, and people like Hillary, people like what's her name, the one from California, Nancy Pelosi, and Bernie Sanders, all these Democrats that have been in the system for so long, 40, 50 years, are so mad that someone with no political experience that they call it TV shows come in here and sweeps them under the rug with 0 years of experience and delivers on his promises on day one. What they couldn't accomplish being in the Senate and in the House for 30 some years, this guy does when he becomes president.
I mean, I don't disagree with you.
I don't disagree with you. I'm not I know you introduced me as this like hardcore liberal and stuff. I don't usually call myself a liberal or a Democrat.
You laughed at every time you said it.
It's just for a fact, man. It's just
I'm not liberal.
I have my critiques of like, liberal elites and all of that stuff.
liberal trench fighter.
The liberal establishment and these talking points, and they sound boring. I get you on Nancy Pelosi. I get you on
Drunk Pelosi.
Hillary, and it's just more the same, right?
Big titties Pelosi.
And then people down here in South Texas that have been voting Democrat for 100 years have been struggling. We have poverty down here, so it's like more of the same. So I get the whole frustration with the Democratic establishment. I get it because me within the party, I've been fighting people within the party.
Yeah.
So I get it.
I agree with that.
I get it. I just can't see myself on the Republican side with you guys, but I get what you guys are seeing with like the quasi corruption or just
You can still vote.
they're not really.
But now that you say that, Danny, that you fight within your own party, and not to sound as a dick, but wouldn't you think that's what killed you from actually winning? You're winnable because your races, both of them were winnable.
Yeah.
And you went against a tough Joe Flores, but an aging old Joe Flores.
Yeah.
And you came in close.
Yeah.
So the numbers were
right. So the local
fighting in between your own party.
Right, because it was a primary. It was a Democratic primary. And
what.
a lot of these fights locally are Democratic primaries. I wasn't gonna play ball with this. So the system down here, and I know we're talking about national politics, about getting to local stuff because we know ourselves from local politics. Is it's there's big money, right? So we're talking about the construction companies, the engineers that approached me. They also approached me. And they wanted to donate big dollars to me, but I just didn't accept it.
Well, you see it now with the city mission.
Yep.
Now where you see Gerlach winning, you see Gerlach signs all over. Gerlach construction here, Gerlach construction in this, Gerlach construction.
But they're financed by somebody who's going to benefit contracts and make all that money.
Stuff in the city.
And I think we agree on that, dude. I think locally, Like
And that's where my man Rick Salinas comes in, the next mayor of
locally, I do think that Rick.
Raul
Shout out to Rick, I do
Raul
know Rick.
Cruz.
I think
Raul Cruz,
Come in.
Rick Salinas.
I do think that at a local level, people like me and you could work on like a local non-part, like these like local municipal races.
Issues we can come.
We
to
could
an
actually come
agreement.
together.
The America Party.
That's our-
Well, I think here
because locally we got to deal with local budget issues and streets, roads,
I think Monica
bridges.
De La Cruz is doing great.
Oh yeah. She's
See,
killing it.
versus what's her name, the other one I can't even know.
Michelle.
Yeah, Michelle. She's being supported by Bernie Sanders. That was a big
Yeah.
no-no. I was like, oh no. Hey.
Why though?
I don't know why. I never paid attention. All I know is that Bernie Sanders was supporting her. I was
Wait,
like,
Danny was supporting it too, weren't you, Danny?
Of course,
Michelle,
dude.
Baena?
Come on, I'm not gonna support the
What
Republic.
do you got against
You guys know me.
against Bernie Sanders,
The socialists. We got time for that.
bro? We're half socialist already.
So there's a lot of people that voted for
What's
that have voted for Trump and have voted for Bernie too,
Uh-huh.
because I don't think they really give a damn like if it's like a right winger, authoritarian, or a left socialist. To people, those are just like constants. Whatever. Is this guy gonna deliver for me?
Yeah.
If y'all remember 2020 when Biden won in the primary, Bernie swept down here. He kicked Biden's ass in that primary. He won the state, but all the border counties, Bernie swept. So I think people are responding to populist messaging. Trump had a populist message, and Bernie had a populist message. Now you may disagree with Bernie, but he did have a populist message that was like, "Screw the system." I know he's been in the system for a long time, but he's an independent technically. You know,
Yeah, but Bernie came in a close third. to
Yeah,
Hillary.
I mean,
Very close
this
third
guy could have
from winning the
beaten. He
nomination.
was supposed to be Biden in that primary in 2020
Yeah.
until last minute. Beto and all these guys came together to push Bernie out.
The new Bernie.
But there's a whole anti-establishment. There was that anti-establishment sentiment with people
In all
that
honesty, I think if Bernie would have won and he would have been president over Biden, we wouldn't even be talking about all these Donald Trump issues and all these
Yeah, it would've been other
immigration
stuff
and
going
fighting and bickering.
we talk about wages.
We wouldn't even be having this conversation.
yeah.
If
But I think Biden started all this.
Okay.
I mean, all right.
I think that you-
I mean, I was a Bernie delegate, bro. Like in the
I think
primary.
they came out
I
and
was
admitted
against
that
Biden at
somebody
first.
did the auto sign for
There you
9
go.
months. So I think they came out with an article last week.
The auto
One of
pen.
his secretaries was doing the auto sign for 9 months. So 9 months he didn't sign shit. It was
Leave
his
Sleepy Joe
secretary.
alone, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
man.
it's like I told everybody, man. Like, because they said, dude, you would really vote for that old guy over Donald Trump. I was like, if Joe Biden brought Joe Biden's ashes in an urn, I would vote for that
Oh my god.
Oh my
over Trump. Whoever like the Joe Biden's handlers were, way more confident in those people than whatever Trump's doing right now. I guarantee goddamn to you. I mean, just look at the numbers that I mentioned earlier: 2.5% growth in GDP, 0.7 now. I mean, you can't fudge numbers, man.
I do think that Trump would have had a more successful. It was all right, a more successful first term if he would have did what every president did when they entered an office, which was basically fire everybody from the previous administration. Everybody. Yeah, talking about all the way from in different countries, embassies to staff, get rid of all of them. Trump kept a lot of people that were Obama in place, and they kind of just
Yeah, but those were civil servants, right?
yeah. But the thing is,
Why go after the civil servants?
yeah, but they've
But some of those people were under Bush, and then under Obama, and then under Trump, and like they've been there.
No, if you look it up, in
There are
2009
career civil servants that have worked for
Yeah,
both.
But if you look at 2009, the mass firing that he did with the staffs,
Okay, I'll have to
look it up. In 2009, yeah, he fired basically everybody.
No.
Yeah, he had to put people that he trusts.
Okay.
And Trump didn't do that. He
I
said,
mean-
he looked at it like in a business perspective. People were doing good. They did good there. Leave them there.
I mean,
what did they do? Undermine them.
Look, in a certain sense, man, like you kind of understand it, right? Like you win an election, you know, you want to put your people in, whether they're civil servants or not. I mean, you understand it at the base level.
Yeah, he has the power to do it. Like
Yeah.
there's no quarrel there. It's-
I guess where it gets squirrely is where it's like their civil servants are supposed to be like independent for a reason. You know what I mean? You don't want loyalists in every. You want.
Yeah, like, I get like the managers, directors of programs. It's like the really, really low level folks that were just like
right.
picking up the phone. Like,
I have a solid question to you two. Do you really believe that Kamala Harris would have been the perfect candidate? Like she was good.
No,
Not perfect,
no.
Like she was the candidate.
No.
I don't think she was a candidate at all.
No,
That's
but
the
to
reason-
me, democracy is very important, and I think she respected democracy more.
I mean,
And also,
we're-
like
we're
the fact that
constitutional.
Stephen Miller was going to come back to the White House. That's just
Yeah,
like,
man,
big-
dude. As
Stephen Miller's
as
white
a,
supremacist.
as
bro.
a
I can't-
Mexican, as look,
racism is. I know you all hate that word, but Stephen Miller comes from white supremacy ideology.
as
and
a
he's-
former Republican, I can say I used to fucking cringe every time I would hear a liberal call somebody a racist. But sometimes a cigar is a cigar, man. And fucking Stephen Miller is as racist as it fucking gets. Just like I told Noe earlier. Even Trump himself said it. If Stephen Miller had his way,
Yeah,
everybody in America would look like
65
Stephen
million
Miller.
Latinos will be gone. That includes all of us.
That's Laura Loomer right there, bro. And she has a direct ear to the president. I got news for you, Noe. You ain't white, man. Gilbert, you ain't white, bro. That 65 million includes us.
I pass as white. Trust me. I grew up in Houston.
It don't matter. Go to Arkansas, bro. It don't
Houston,
matter, dog.
Houston, I was white. My name was Gilbert Perez. I went to Gilbert Perez.
Gilbert Perez.
I know, right?
Bro,
I can't squeeze out.
I'm only brown because of work. Look, I'm 2 shades. You see that?
Yeah.
2 shades right
White
there.
over here.
Sun.
they smell that shit, dog. I know it. They smell it.
Yeah, they'll pick it up, man.
It's like, what are you, man? What are you? You're something. You're white, but you're something else.
You're rolling.
mixed.
You're rolling that those letters a little too fast.
Yeah.
Mexican, you're gone.
I got a white name. I honestly thought.
All right, guys. Yeah,
I think
It's been good, man.
yeah. I think
I want to cap it there. We good?
We could, yeah.
You guys gotta go to some of them.
I mean, we got
Yeah,
more,
an
but
hour
you know,
drive.
there's more days.
Yeah, definitely more
We
days.
got plenty of time to be together.
All right, guys. Well, then we'll call it right there. Gilbert, thanks for coming by. Danny, thank you as always. Noe, it was good to meet you, man. Good
Likewise.
conversation. Claudius,
Thank you for having me.
thanks for keeping this train on the tracks, man.
Thank you.
Damn, dude,
Wentz.
we really hit it, huh?
Wife,
Oh,
thank you guys for coming by.
Oh, yep. Yeah, a
We
little
did
bit.
And,
an hour.
and we'll see you guys next
An hour
Saturday.
plus.
All right.
Good seeing you, bro.
Like West Van Danny.